Today, the Church gives us a dual celebration, if you will. We honor Our Lady of Lourdes, and it also is the World Day of the Sick. Very appropriate. And I was thinking back about this time last year. I was preparing for a major hospitalization in my life. I was going to be admitted to Beth Israel Hospital for a stem cell transplant to treat a blood disorder that I have. And the prayers, and many of you prayed for me, and I'm grateful for that. People in my various parish assignments sent me get well cards, etc., etc. And one woman sent me 3 bottles of holy water from Lourdes. And when I was hospitalized, anytime I would say Mass, I would bless myself and bless the little table that I'd be celebrating private Sunday Mass, looking over the Longwood Medical area here in Boston, and praying for you. As church, we all gather our prayers and remember the sick. And Lourdes is the place that I've never visited, but to have that water there as a reminder of the legacy which began on this day back in 1858, when a young girl named Bernadette, a simple poor girl from the town of Lourdes, was going to gather firewood in this far-off place. If you go to Lourdes these days, it's very pristine. Thousands of pilgrims go there for healing. But back in 1858, it was not the most desirable location. The history of the place is that pigs would go there, and it was very squalid. Yet on February 11th, Bernadette had a vision. A woman in white appeared to her, and over several days, this vision of a young girl to another young girl, an unlikely source of joy, revealed herself to be the Blessed Virgin Mary. And one of her titles was told to Bernadette, the Immaculate Conception. I am the Immaculate Conception. And in this area of squalor, of filth, if you will, the purity, the sinless Virgin was making messages of healing, peace, and reconciliation known to that local community. And the word got out, as it often does with a miraculous vision. People were skeptical, though. But soon, after a few weeks, people began to pray and try to encounter this beautiful vision and follow the instruction of the Blessed Virgin, who said to bathe in this grotto. And it's beautiful, people say. And admittedly, we might have a little skepticism, and if we don't believe about it, or it's not part of our tradition, we're in really good company. The Jesuit priest, Father James Martin, wrote a beautiful journal of his experiences of Lourdes. When he was in novitiate for the Jesuits, he walked into the common room of his place one time, and they were watching the film called The Song of Bernadette, and he had never seen it before. And people said, "Are you kidding me? How can you call yourself Catholic and not seen this film called The Song of Bernadette?" He sat down and watched it and was struck by the visions, the witness of this beautiful saint. Soon after, into his priesthood, he was invited to lead a pilgrimage, thanks to the Knights of Malta. And he sees that Lourdes is a special way that God can be encountered. He writes, "Those who go are motivated to request a special kind of healing, whether physical, emotional, or spiritual. For others, it may be a desire to find some direction or guidance, to express gratitude for some blessing one has received, or even to make amends for some sin in one's life." And many times in the Gospels, we hear that Jesus goes to far-off locations, unexpected places like today's Gospel. He goes to Tyre and goes to a woman who's not one that you expect would have God's healing to be revealed to. And there's a little bit of a testy interchange between the two of them, let's be honest. But the woman's faith and devotion break through any type of barrier. And Jesus doesn't even have to visit this woman, this Syrophoenician Greek woman's house, for the healing of her daughter to take place. So it is with us. We are grateful for these witnesses throughout our lives, through the visionaries like Bernadette and those who have gone to Lourdes who have experienced healing. We read that the Blessed Virgin Mary, indeed, by accepting Jesus Christ in her womb, as Pope Benedict wrote once, she had rivers of living water flowed to irrigate the human history. Jesus' earthly ministry then, and through his life as our healer at the Church's sacramental life today, as we gather to offer the Eucharist for those who are ill, especially those who are harmed by the pandemic. In preparing for this World Day of the Sick, Pope Francis wrote the following: "A society is all the more human to the degree that it cares for its most frail and suffering members. No one should feel alone, excluded, or abandoned." That should be our prayer for all of us today. We are not alone, gathered to celebrate the sacred mystery of the Eucharist, which gives us healing, unity as Christ's body. No one should feel excluded or abandoned, for we all pray with and for each other, no matter where we are. We may not make it to Lourdes, yet people have the healing in their very, very souls and beings. We are called to follow Jesus Christ, who extended himself, to went to the margins of society, and still does as church, as his risen body here on earth. As James Martin said in his beautiful journal of visiting Lourdes, he said, "Our actions flow from the grotto of our hearts, which God dwells every day."